In this episode of Talking About Orks, we're going over the Grot Mega Tank. So the Grot Mega Tank has a movement of 2d6. Again, I went over that with the Grot Tank video. It's really limiting on its effectiveness on the tabletop, having that 2d6 movement. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, of course, because it's Grots. Strength 6, toughness 6, 9 wounds, 4 attacks, 5 leadership, and 4 armor save. Grot Mega Tank is a single model equipped with 2 heavy turrets and 3 light turrets, all of which must be equipped with one or more of the options from the Wargear options list, or one of the options from the Wargear options list. And it has the 5 standard Grot weapons, Big Shooters, Rockets, Scorches, Grotzukas, and Custom Mega Blasters. So heavy turret basically has 2 of each, and a light turret has 3 of each, giving you a total of 7 of each kind of weapon you want. Or you can mix and match, of course. Let's see. So the Grot Mega Tank may also have a Shooter. Shooters are free. No reason to tank those. Not to take that. The Grot Mega Tank may have up to 2 boom canisters. Boom canisters are assault or 10-inch range. Assault 2d6. Strength 4. AP 0. Damage 1. The weapon can only be used once. They're only one-time use, but they're 2 points each. So there's really no reason not to take the boom canisters. And the Grot Mega Tank may also have a Wrecking Ball. Give it a little tiny bit of punch in close combat. So, the biggest downside, though, is this mutiny rule. At the start of the shooting phase, roll 6. On a 1, none of the model weapons may be fired this turn, as a fight breaks out inside the tank. On a 6, the Grot crew falls in line and follows the commando's orders, 2 literally, and the model's weapons must all be fired at the same target, but add 1 to the hit rolls. You'll probably be firing them all at the same target anyway, unless you take different weapons. Full speed ahead, Grot Mega Tanks have a movement of 2d6. Again, talked about that. It's a big downside. Rolling Scrap Pile is 6-up invul save, and explodes. It does D3 mortal wounds within 3 inches. So overall, this Grot Mega Tank is actually pretty good. It packs a lot of firepower and a decent amount of points. Again, the downside is the random movement, and the mutiny rule is almost, I would say, unnecessary. It's kind of fluffy, but it really hurts it. Because, I mean, you could be spending these points and have it literally do nothing the entire game with some bad rolling. Which is something you don't want, obviously. But anyway, so basically you have 7 weapon slots on this. 7. 8 if you include the Shooter, or 10 if you include the boom canisters. That is a lot of firepower. And so I think the obvious choice for this is rockets. Having 7 rockets on this, plus the boom canisters, puts it just over 170 points. Which for that amount of firepower isn't too bad, and isn't a whole lot more points than actually 10 tank busters. About the same price as 10 tank busters. You get 7 rockets instead of 10. You don't get the rerolls, of course, but you're hitting on 4s instead of 5s. And you're getting it at a much more resilient package. So you're basically paying for, exchanging 3 tank busters for 2 extra toughness and a few extra wounds. No, that's the same number of wounds, about. So extra toughness and extra save. So this is definitely a viable contender, I think, to tank busters, especially if you're not fighting against vehicles. So I imagine hitting on 5s with re-rolling misses versus just hitting on 4s. Obviously, the reroll is going to be 5. It can probably give you a better statistic chance to hit, but this is, again, if you're running mechanized, you want a theme that's more mechanized without putting the tank busters in a truck. Giving these guys a chance isn't too bad. You can give it a KFF, so it has an additional save, because 5-up is obviously better than 6-up invul. KFF mech nearby, and yeah, overall not a bad little tank when you get right down to it. It could be better, of course, no doubt about that. The first thing, of course, is getting rid of that random movement. It's a pain. I just don't like the random movement. I can live with the mutiny rule, just because it's kind of cool, kind of fluffy, if it weren't for the random movement. So what this needs to be, basically, is a character that buffs Grot tanks. So it has 9 wounds, so it's perfectly set up to run a character keyword. It would be great for that. And then have it unique, say Grot Mega Tank is a single model, only 1 can be included in your army, and make it a character. And then Mutiny, have the Mutiny rule, maybe not the Mutiny rule, have another rule where it buffs Grot tanks, where they don't have to take leadership tests, or automatically pass leadership tests, or get to re-roll leadership tests or something, because leadership is going to be a big problem for Grot tanks, just like it is for cans. or if you lose, because they have big units and low leadership. So if you lose 2 or 3 tanks in a turn, which isn't hard to do, they're going to lose more with the leadership test. So I think having some way for the Grot tanks to automatically pass leadership when they're near a Grot mega tank would be very playable and give them some synergy with between the 2 Grot vehicles, the tanks and the mega tank. Let me encourage you to run those together as kind of like a force in its own. So you have a Grot mega tank surrounded by a swarm of little Grot tanks, and have them work together. Maybe have the mutiny apply to Grot tank units within 3 inches, so they can get the +1 to hit. Of course, you know, on a single one, that means half your army can't shoot. But you know, that's Orks for you. That's what you get for playing Orks. Overall, yeah. Overall, it's not bad. I think it's way better than Grot tanks. You deal with the 7 rockets. I said you're pushing 170 points. So with the 2 boom canisters, it would be 173. So it's quite a bit less than the kill tank, and still packs quite an impressive amount of firepower. As I said, it just needs a character keyword, and it would probably be really amazing if it had some way to buff up the Grot tanks nearby. So if you ever run a Grot mega tank, I'm way more impressed with this than I was with the Grot tanks. Grot tanks just seem to be useless. This actually provides a huge amount of firepower. And can actually be thematic alternative to tank busters if you wish. So have you ever run a Grot tank? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Orks. Please subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications for new Talking About Orks videos every Wednesday, new battle reports every Friday, and hobby videos whenever I can. Thanks for watching.